G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I pretty much haven't posted for about a month at the moment because the month of November into early December, there really, for me in Melbourne, there isn't much more than just trimming maples, weeding and fertilizing. That's pretty much all you can really do on exotic species like what I collect. My main collection is made up of maples, pines and junipers. If you've got single flush pines, which are white pines, Amiga pines, Scots pine, you could have done a work on just pinching the candles out, where you don't take all the whole candle out, you leave a few lower needles on the new candle. That's the type of work you could have done in November. But I don't have single flush pines. Mine are mainly black pines. And now it's December, and it's starting to warm up really well. This black pine is quite healthy. There's a few areas that are a little bit weak. I'm not sure 100% why that happened, but there's lots of areas that are really strong. Now it's been fed really well over spring, and now it's a good time to decandle this tree. So decandling is pretty much cutting off the whole new candle that's grown. And you just leave the old needles from last season just at the base. So what happens when you cut those points, when you cut that candle off, there'll be, instead of one here, there's one candle here. By April, May, you'll have multiple buds in that one spot, and then and then you go about and just remove back to 2 buds at that point. So this will be 1 here. We'll cut that off. We'll get multiple buds. Then we reduce to 2 in autumn. So that's the process of black pine. This is quite straightforward, quite easy to do. So I will go ahead and remove. I'm going to remove all the strong. So in this case, this tree, there's a few weak areas here, which I'm going to leave alone. I'm not going to touch. I'm going to let them recover. There's no need to cut those off because I'm just not sure why hasn't really flushed out in this area. But I'm going to cut everything strong, and pretty much that's it. I'm going to leave everything else to grow and recover. So let's get started. With the candle, always start at the top of the tree and work your way down. For example, this is a really strong candle. So I'll come in and remove the whole candle off. It's a very straightforward process. You just go about the whole tree and decandle it. Might look terrible for a little while. You also can, what's the other thing is, you can also needle pluck anything going down. You start to clean up, or anything that's really old and ugly, you start to clean up as well. So decandling is a critical process in the ramification phase of a black pine. Ramification means this tree is, I'm not really growing trunks, I'm not really growing branches, I'm just growing foliage. So you need to get lots of foliage happening on the tree. And the way to do that is decandling. You take one off, two will grow by autumn, then they'll be a new shoot. So then that in December will keep going, cut them off, and you get another 2. So we'll go 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. That's the theory. So if you do it right, you should get lots of buds. So I've fed really well this spring, and you can see the healthiness of the foliage going all over the place. So you just remove the candles, so the whole candle comes off. Now I do see some weak areas, a little bit weak here. I'm not going to touch those. I'm going to leave the weaker ones this time around. Sometimes you can do that. And just in this case, the tree is doing really well, but it's really the first season I'm going to decandle this tree, because it's a newish acquisition for me, and I'm still learning about the tree. So you don't rush to do all the normal techniques if you're not sure about the tree. You could lose the tree, and that's the last thing you want to do. So just go about and decandle it all. So I'll speed through the process, and you can see how it looks through a time lapse on how it goes. So this is how the tree looks after you decandle. So I haven't done any needle plucking either. I just like to, usually there's too much trees to do in terms of decandling to get needle plucking done. I usually do my needle plucking in autumn when I do the bud selection. So that's when you clean up all the old needles. But in this case, as long as the candles have been taken off, you get the next flush. That's all you really care about. So this tree just pretty much goes back on the benches where it was. I don't feed any new fertilizer until probably just after summer. So I'll let this tree really use what it's got in terms of its energy in the roots to push out the new buds. Now she'll push out lots of buds, at least 2 in one cut spot, and hopefully have lots of buds to choose from when the time's right. So that's pretty much it. Nice, short, quick. That's a black pine. This one I've pretty much decandled everything except for a few areas that were very weak in here, so I didn't really touch it, and off you go. But remember, this is only for refined trees, only trees that you don't need to grow the trunks, don't need to really grow the branches anymore. You've got all the thicknesses you want, and it's just a matter of trying to create the pads. Now this is all I'm trying to do, is now create all the pads. Now I have fully wired this tree earlier in the year, so I did a video on that anyway already, but now it's a matter of just building all the pads and getting them all looking good. So the structure is really good. Maybe the apex needs to be thinned out a little bit more eventually, but let's see how the next flush goes. Let me bud select and then needle pluck in autumn, and then we'll see how the tree actually looks overall. But this is how it is, and that's how you do decandling of black pines. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.